Hi you guys, and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'll try to compare my process of learning English as a beginner to more advanced stages in terms of the effectiveness of methods, approaches, strategies and techniques, as well as share my own experience of facing the intermediate plateau. In my case, it was an old classic school approach with many flaws and drawbacks, but I never even questioned it. Also, I learned a lot on my own, but I did it rather randomly than systematically, not putting much mind to it, and I didn't care much about the process and the result. But I did experience and feel the progress. I was seemingly learning new things every time I sat down to learn. Everything was relatively easy to me. I was learning basic grammar, new words and phrases. As time went on, everything felt comfortable. I could understand and say a few things. So I felt more or less competent and confident about what I was doing. And now, looking back at the time, I understand that I created my comfort zone. That certain list of learning activities became my comfort zone. And after being learning English this way for quite a long time, I've got that horrible feeling that I'm not progressing anymore, that I'm not making any progress, and I feel stuck. It happened probably last year. I found myself at the stage of the English learning process when I could understand some YouTube videos, but not much of movies or TV shows or TV series. I could express myself in English somehow, but I didn't feel comfortable doing it. So I'd been learning English for many years, but still I felt my English was not good enough. But don't get me wrong, I don't feel that I've already overcome all of the above, but I'm in the process and things are much better for me now. And then I discovered such a concept as intermediate plateau. For the first time, I got acquainted with it at one of the Heroic English meetups on learning. I'll share the link with you in the description box below so that you can join this amazing community and discover many interesting, helpful, useful, mind-blowing things which can definitely change your mindset. And then I dove even deeper. I watched a lot of videos on this topic, particularly videos of polyglots, and I familiarized myself with this concept more and more, and I found this undeniable confirmation that I was experiencing the intermediate plateau. And all the learners, sooner or later, face it. It is a stage when, despite your best efforts, progress doesn't seem to come as easily as it used to. It's called a plateau because it's a place on your language learning journey where your progress becomes virtually flat. Learning feels difficult and slow, and you are not seeing that easy daily progress. And after realizing that I was exactly at that stage, and that I was not alone, and that it was not about me, I started to look for a way out and the way to get off the intermediate plateau. So the very first thing that changed my perspective about myself in all this process was understanding and realizing the fact that hitting the intermediate plateau is totally normal. It's totally okay, and it's not my problem. It's not about my limiting abilities to learn. It's just inevitable. And another important point, if I have these feelings that I'm not progressing anymore, that I'm stuck, it simply means that I'm getting closer to a more advanced level of English. Yes, it feels that I'm stuck now, but it means that I simply have to change my approach to break through to a more advanced level. There is this expression that I really love, which goes, what gets you here won't get you there. It means to move beyond where you right now, you need to change the way you do things. And I took some tips and advice on how to overcome this stage from more experienced English learners who are now coaches, who went through this stage even more than once. And it led me to the point that there are two different approaches, two different types of learning. The first one is natural learning, or you may see passive learning, simple practice, implicit learning. It means absorbing the language through living in English, by exposure to the language. And the second type is deliberate learning, or explicit learning, or active learning. It's like studying English, doing English. It's like working on your English. For both, it's important to use resources and topics that are relevant for you, that you are interested in, that are important for you. So don't try to get focused on everything. I used to do it, and it was my big mistake. You'll get overwhelmed. Instead, just try to focus on the topics that you are interested in, that are relevant for you, that you want to talk about or you are going to talk about in future. In this case, you learn faster. You remember better because you are using the information you learned much often, and it's gonna stick in your brain. So natural learning includes listening to podcasts that you are interested in, reading books, magazines, articles on topics that interest you, listening to your favorite music, watching TV shows, TV series, movies that you really like, using your English on social media, having like normal conversations in English, and it is just living your life the way you normally would, but in English. This is natural learning. This is passive learning. And of course, it's much more enjoyable and it's really fun. It's like effortless, but it is much less effective, efficient, and productive as deliberate practice, deliberate learning. So deliberate learning includes activities like reading transcripts of podcasts or maybe movies and highlighting new vocabulary, maybe creating flashcards, maybe doing some grammar exercises, listening exercises, pronunciation exercises, working with a teacher or tutor, etc. So that you have to challenge yourself and move beyond your comfort zone. So to move beyond the intermediate plateau, you have to change how you go about practicing the language. So you have to move beyond simple practice to more challenging type of practice, deliberate practice. It's not that you have to completely switch to deliberate practice, but you have to prioritize it. And now let's get back to my experience and take a closer look at what I did I feel helped me a lot. So first of all, I started to read intensively. It means that I read by highlighting all the new vocabulary, analyzing it, breaking it down, reviewing it in order to better memorize it and turn it into my active vocabulary. The next point, I started to shadow more. I really like this shadowing practice, and of course I shadow by analyzing new vocabulary, highlighting new vocabulary as well. I started to speak more by scheduling more one-to-one conversations with different speaking partners. Moreover, now I even have some students whom I help practice their spoken English. Also, I try to be regular and consistent with creating the content for my YouTube channel, in English of course. I record myself for weekly video challenges and for my YouTube channel as well, and I constantly analyze my speech. It's also important to vary and mix different learning activities as well as simple and deliberate practice in order not to get overwhelmed, disappointed, and just burned out, and in order not to end up quitting. So this is my experience of facing the intermediate plateau and the things I did and continue to do in order to get off it. So just to quickly sum up, it's really important, even crucial, to recognize and acknowledge that you are facing this stage, that you are going through the intermediate plateau. It gives you so much clarity and confidence that you will be able to overcome this stage, as this is a really common problem and you are not alone. And of course, there are so many different approaches, techniques, methods, strategies, or just simply learning activities that you can try in order to change the way you go about practicing the language, only if you put your mind to it. As for me, I'm still in the process. I cannot say that I've totally overcome this stage. My progress right now is not skyrocketing as I'd like it to be, or maybe as it could be, but still now it's quite noticeable for me. And of course, we always want to get better no matter the level we are at right now. What is also important, now I enjoy this process much more than I used to. I enjoy the path, rather than get focused on the ultimate goal, on my final outcome. And to tell the truth, this mindset shift has been crucial for me as well. If you put in time and effort, if you invest your energy, if you put your mind to it, your progress and your success will be inevitable. Okay guys, it will be it for today. Thank you so much for sharing your time and watching this video. I hope you found my experience to be interesting and useful, and it will give you some ideas how to apply it to your English learning process. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.